Well, hello my friends. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to hear an all-new never-repeated story that I just wrote called The Garden on Birch Street. And here we meet our protagonist, Walter Hughes, a retired mail carrier and Vietnam veteran. Ella is the embodiment of innocence and wonder, always asking questions and eager to help. Her family has just moved to Birch Street, and she finds herself intrigued by the old man in the White House and his abandoned garden. Now, his days are marked by routine, waking up early, having breakfast, reading the newspaper, and then spending his afternoons in silence, broken only by the ticking of the clock. Now, this decision symbolizes his first step towards healing. The garden becomes his therapy, a way for him to channel his grief and loneliness into something productive. It brings together people from different walks of life who share a common goal of supporting Walter and each other. The garden acts as a catalyst for personal growth and healing, helping characters like David and Mrs. Rivera find strength and clarity in the midst of their own struggles. Clearing the weeds represents his effort to clear the clutter in his mind, making space for new growth and possibilities. The garden has become a living testament to the power of community, reminding everyone that even in the face of loss and hardship, life can continue to bloom. The event symbolizes the culmination of their collective efforts and the strength of the bonds they've formed. Walter's journey from grief-stricken recluse to active community member demonstrates the resilience of the human spirit. The garden on Birch Street becomes a symbol of hope, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, life and beauty can find a way to flourish. The garden-esque bounty becomes a metaphor for the richness of their shared experiences and the nourishment they've gained from each other as company. Please share in the comments and let me know what you thought of the message and the characters. If you liked the story, consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more such tales. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new releases. Thank you for joining me on this storytelling journey. Until next time, stay curious and keep listening to stories because they have the power to shape our minds, touch our hearts, and inspire our dreams. Take care. Bye-bye. This moment marks a shift in Walter's mindset, a tiny crack in the wall of his grief that allows a sliver of hope to peek through. This routine highlights his isolation, suggesting that he's stuck in a cycle of monotony and grief. Walter's days are measured by time, which seems to be his only companion in the face of his loneliness. The silence in the house is deafening, amplifying Walter's feelings of isolation and underscoring the emotional toll of losing his wife. With her youthful enthusiasm and compassion, she becomes the catalyst that helps Walter reconnect with life and the community around him. The garden is wild and overgrown, symbolizing neglect and grief. Now, the image of weeds taking over the garden reinforces the idea of things falling apart and left unattended. Their presence breaks the spell of his solitude, initiating the process of reconnecting with the community. Now, these interactions are significant because they start to chip away at Walter's emotional barriers, reminding him that he's not completely alone. The arrival of his neighbors acts as a lifeline, pulling him back into the warmth of human connection. The garden's state reflects Linda's absence and the emotional landscape Walter finds himself in, highlighting the deep void that her death has created in his life. Then there's Mrs. Rivera, a young mother who's also recently moved to Birch Street. She's warm and friendly, always ready with a smile and a helping hand. Her character symbolizes the power of community and the strength that comes from shared experiences. Mrs. Rivera embodies resilience and kindness, offering not just her time and energy, but also a sense of belonging to Walter and the other residents of Birch Street. Lastly, we have David, a high school student who's struggling to find his place in the world. He's intelligent but somewhat lost, lacking direction and purpose. David's inclusion in the story highlights the transformative power of nature and hard work. His character shows how engaging with something larger than oneself can bring a sense of fulfillment and clarity. David's journey of self-discovery mirrors the transformation of the garden itself, showing that growth and change are possible with dedication and perseverance. Walter is a strong, silent type, stoic and reserved, having carried the weight of his wartime experiences silently for decades. Now, despite his gruff exterior, Walter possesses a deep-rooted sense of duty and honor. His service in Vietnam had instilled in him a strong work ethic and a quiet determination that he applied to every aspect of his life. In his younger years, he found solace in his garden, a hobby he shared with his late wife. Linda. The garden was their sanctuary, a place where they could connect with nature and each other away from the noise and demands of the world. Now, after Linda's passing, the garden has become overgrown and neglected, mirroring the state of Walter's heart. It's almost as if the garden is waiting for its caretaker to return and bring life back to the wilted flowers and untended soil. Walter lives in a small white house with blue shutters, a home filled with memories of his shared life with Linda. The house stands as a silent witness to their joy, laughter, and love, and it serves as a constant reminder of what he's missing since her passing. And this is a story about connection, resilience, and the enduring power of shared purpose. So let's get right into the story and meet our characters. So this story takes place in a quiet American neighborhood on Birch Street. Now, entering the story, we have Ella, a cheerful and curious 7-year-old girl who lives across the street from Walter. Okay, so now that we've met our characters, let's continue on with the story. The story opens with a description of Walter's daily routine, emphasizing his solitude and the emptiness that surrounds him. The narrative then shifts to the state of Linda's garden, which mirrors Walter's own emotional state. However, a turning point occurs when Walter decides to tend to the garden, motivated by the simple act of clearing the weeds. The following day, Walter is surprised to see neighbors stopping by to offer their support and assistance. Over time, Walter's garden becomes a hub of activity, transforming from a symbol of grief into a symbol of hope and resilience. As the seasons change and the garden it becomes evident that the true beauty lies not in the flowers and vegetables, but in the connections that have been nurtured. The story reaches its climax during the Harvest Day celebration, where the community comes together to give back to Walter and celebrate the abundance that the garden has provided. In the end, the story leaves us with a sense of optimism and the belief in the healing power of nature and human connection. And that's our story. I hope you enjoyed this brand new, never repeated tale from my channel. What are your thoughts? What did you learn?